Rapid yet sustained weight loss. 1 month, 1 stone, 1 concerted effort. Let's find out what's necessary to realize this. If we assume 30 days for a month, then we'd like to lose about 5 pounds every 10 days, about 2 kilograms, or 15 pounds in 30 days, or 0.5 pounds per day, or over 3 pounds per week. I'm getting to take an imaginary man and woman and put some figures down for them, showing you ways to try to do it for yourself if you're different from my examples. If we assume that there are about 3,500 calories during a pound of fat, then you would like to make a deficit of a minimum of 11,500 calories hebdomadally if you would like to urge those 3 pounds off. 3,500 times 14 pounds equals 49,000 calories. If we then break that down into every day, that's a daily deficit of about 1,600 calories. Now, let's determine what proportion energy it costs to remain to live. I'll take 3 men and 3 women. Male 1. 70 kilograms to 11 stone, 0.3 pounds to 154.3 pounds. Energy calories range 1,918 to 3,036. Male 2. 80 kilograms to 12 stone, 8.4 pounds to 176.4 pounds. Energy calories range 2,038 to 3,226. Male 3. 90 kilograms to 14 stone, 2.4 pounds to 198.4 pounds. Energy calories range 2,158 to 3,416. Female 1. 60 kilograms to 9 stone, 6.3 pounds to 132.3 pounds. Energy calories range 1,598 to 2,531. Female 2. 70 kilograms to 11 stone, 0.3 pounds to 154.3 pounds. Energy calories range 1,718 to 2,721. Female 3. 80 kilograms to 12 stone, 8.4 pounds to 176.4 pounds. Energy calories range 1,838 to 2,911. These imaginary figures are based upon someone being about 170 centimeters tall, in their mid-30s, and are used for illustration purposes only. The principles behind the practices here are valid, you only got to personalize the practices to your situation. These are estimations only and can vary person to person. To seek out more accurately, you would like to urge your own starting figures. You'll do that using the calculators found at caloriesperhour.com. Use the BMR and RMR involves a rough start line, then use the practices here to switch the figures supported real-world results. So you'll see that for a lady of 60 kilograms, who is merely lightly active or sedentary, this is able to basically mean not eating in the least, for a few months. Who is that this for? Thing is though, a 60 kilograms woman doesn't actually need to lose 14 pounds, about 6 kilograms, or over 10% of her weight, so we're not really catering for this person. What we should always be watching is that the higher end of the size. If, for instance, you check out the 90 kilograms man, even a sedentary individual could cut over 1,000 calories from their daily intake, as long as they are doing it with the proper foods. I'll come on there too during a moment. First, let's take a quick check out the 3 factors which will make this massive calorie reduction possible. Intermittent fasting, eating high protein, low fat, low carb. Doing only high intensity weights and really low intensity cardio. Now let's expand each of these so you'll create your own plan. 1. Intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, the lean gains version, may be a simple approach to feeding the body. This does not mean that you simply eat for the entire 8-hour block. There are 2 key aspects to if that makes it add your favor when it involves massive weight loss. 1. Every day is split, physiologically, into 2 distinct phases, each of which helps your fat loss goal. 2. Using if makes it much easier to scale back your calories than traditional dieting. I don't get to enter more detail about the if lifestyle, because you'll read the 2 posts on my website, address at rock bottom, search the intermittent fasting category for intermittent fasting results and guide, and training for fat loss, that tell the complete story. Suffice to mention, if you would like to form your weight loss as painless and effective as possible, you ought to probably be performing some sort of if. 2. Eating high protein, low fat, low carb. In his superb set of articles about designing a fat loss diet, Lyle McDonald talks about setting things up from the bottom, instead of the highest. Say what? Well, what we've done here is start with a weight loss goal, that being the highest or endpoint, then worked backward to work out what we'd like to try to do. In those articles Lyle takes a rather different approach and figures out what you would like physiologically, then put those figures into a diet, to ascertain what comes out at the top. Here, we are getting to use a part of that approach, setting protein intake, to offer you a start line for deciding your foods. How much food does one need? Or more specifically, what proportion protein do you have to be aiming for at each meal? Well, we will give two answers there to question. The solution that's best is that the one that creates your feeling most reassured. The fast answer is lots. The more specific answer is figured out as follows. Start with a level of about 1 gram per pound of body weight and divide over your 2 or 3 meals, then adjust supported lean tissue and strength drops and hunger, satiety levels. So if you discover your strength dropping, and your muscle leaving your body, what foods am I able to eat? I've put together an inventory of foods that will work whilst eating for enormous fat loss. You'll download it from my website, via the link at rock bottom. One thing that I consistently find is that the total lack of hunger and feelings of deprivation when on this sort of diet, and this should not be surprising given the large range of foods on offer here. One thing you'll notice is that the total lack of liquid foods, meal replacement powders, protein drinks. This is often deliberate, they do not provide satiety and satisfaction, and that they don't offer much opportunity for future diet adherence. As Martin Birkin says, don't drink your calories. Why high protein, low fat, low carb? A couple of reasons. 1, you would like to stay calories as low as possible, as easily as possible. 2, protein plus many bulky yet low carb density foods provide the simplest thanks to feeling full, satisfied, and happy when cutting calories. 3, doing only high intensity weights and really low intensity cardio. Each of the 3 components during this weight loss plan is equally important, so you'd better find how of including this part. Just ask yourself if it's worth jeopardizing the entire plan for the sake of missing some simple exercises? Why start with a press release like that? Because it's too easy for several people to move into old ways of exercising for weight loss. What you would like to be doing is heavy weights, with low reps and using as big movements as possible. Remember, big weights are totally specific to every individual, and therefore the actual number, weight is irrelevant. What's important is that you simply lift to your capacity and you find out how to completely lift at your capacity. For those of you that have hardly lifted weights before, meaning learning what a max effort lift seems like, and expecting that max to travel up quickly as you find out how to urge more and more out of yourself. The great thing about this program is that it really is straightforward. Take the subsequent exercises and rotate them. Squat, dumbbell press, bench press or body weight, dips, dumbbell or barbell shoulder press, lat pull down, pull up, seated row or bent over barbell, dumbbell row, deadlift. Your rotation is simple. Do 3 weeks of 5 set of 4 to 6 reps, 5x5 style routine, then 3 weeks of 3 sets of 9 to 12 reps, 3x10 style routine. Whenever you hit the upper rep range you increase the load. Only after 10 to 14 weeks does one get to rest, but if you've already been exercising consistently for quite 12 weeks, you would like to require every week of total rest immediately, unless your goal is within 12 weeks from the beginning of your program, during which case, you get your rest at the top of that. If you do not skills to try to these exercises, you'll get instruction from a competent trainer. You can find if they're any good by watching how they get you to maneuver and specialize in the exercises you're learning. If they get you to try to your exercises like those wiped out instruction videos, you'll make certain they know their stuff. Otherwise, you can inspect the copious amount of vids on YouTube and figure your own way. George Super Bootcamps Harris may be a personal trainer, hypnotherapist, master NLP practitioner, certified strength and conditioning specialist, and nutritional coach. George wrote his ebook, How to Try to What You Do Not Want to Do, to assist people to take hold of their ability to motivate themselves, feel good and obtain results from their diet and exercise. Written for everybody to simply understand and apply, this book contains everything you would like to require control of your motivation and obtain results. With this book, you'll finally end the cycle of motivation and despair, be consistent and learn, easily, the way to feel good about doing exercise.